second part of the Christmas story. So where we'd finished off before, Mary and Joseph had made their way to the town of Bethlehem because Joseph needed to go there to be counted. But Mary was soon going to have her baby. Remember, the new king to come and be the saviour of the world, to take away the broken love, was going to be born. Mary was going to have the new baby king. So they came into the town and it was so busy there. They knocked at some inns. Now, inns are like hotels, to see if there was a room that Mary and Joseph could stay. And so they knocked at the first inn. But the innkeeper said, there is no room here. And so off they went to the next inn. Remember, Mary's about to have her baby, so she's very tired. So they knocked at this inn. And the innkeeper said, I'm sorry, there is no room here. Oh, Joseph and Mary were beginning to get very worried. And so they knocked at the last inn. But the innkeeper said, I'm sorry, I don't have any room either. But then he thought for a moment, because he was a man that wanted to show love. He had an idea. And he showed Mary and Joseph to like a special stable or a special room which all the animals were kept in, where Mary and Joseph could stay. Now, it wasn't perfect. It was quite smelly, but they didn't really have any choice. And so Mary and Joseph made their way to the stable. And that's a place where they stayed. Now, it might have not been the nicest of places, but at least it was a shelter to keep them safe and dry. Now that night, during the night time, something happened. And in the morning, when they woke up, Mary had the baby. Baby Jesus had been born. Now, there was something very, very special about this baby. Nobody could really explain what it was they felt, but when they were close to him, their hearts were full of love. This was a part of God. Jesus had come into the world as a baby, and he was full of God's love. So Mary's heart was full of joy, and so was Joseph's. But they weren't the only people whose hearts were full of joy. Out in the nearby fields, there were some shepherds. And the shepherds were looking after their sheep, as only shepherds do. And then all of a sudden, there was a bright light that filled the sky, and there was some angels that came to sing to the shepherds. My goodness, the shepherds could not believe their eyes. One of the angels said, "Do not be afraid, we bring good news. You can go to the small town of Bethlehem and you will find a new saviour of the world. You will find him all wrapped up in a manger. Go and worship him." And then the angels sang the most beautiful heavenly song to the shepherds. And off they went. And you know, the shepherds' hearts were filled with joy. And they made their way all the way to Bethlehem with their sheep. And when they got there, just as the angels had told them, they found the baby Jesus there, laying in a manger. And their hearts were filled with joy and peace. There was something really special about this baby just as the angels had told them. And that's not the last part of the story, because there was another part of the story where some special people had heard or knew about a special king. In the Old Testament, there had been some things written about how there would be some signs in the sky which would lead some people, some very wise people, to the new king. And so there were some wise men, and they had been watching the stars and the signs in the sky. And once they saw this star, they knew it was going to lead them all the way to the new baby king. And so for weeks and months, the wise men followed the star. Everywhere that the star went, they followed on a very long journey all the way. So they all followed. They kept following the star, and they kept following the star all the way until the star reached where baby Jesus had been born, and it rested just above where baby Jesus was. And so the wise men kept on following until they too reached the stable, and they found, just as they were told in all of the messages from the old part of the Bible in the Old Testament, they found the new baby king laying in a manger. And they brought him gifts. They brought him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And these were all gifts that were really special for a king. And that's the first Christmas story. And at this time of year, we have a really big think about baby Jesus coming into the world, because we know that he came so that all of the broken love things would be gone forever. And this was just the start of how baby Jesus was going to do that.